What's going on, guys? So today's review is going to be a little bit wonky because, as you can see, I'm not in the cave. I'm in the living room. Well, maybe you knew that, didn't know that. Either way, so because this guy is so large, I have to use the kind of coffee table to really show off his alt mode. So if you want to see the Taro video, go watch that. It'll be up in one of the corners. It was hell, and I'm sure I'm going to have the same problem getting this guy transformed this time. So I'm going to go through the initial part of the review on the desk where we look at the box up close. Then we're going to come back to the living room via YouTube time travel, and I will do the alt mode, the transformation, and then boom, we're going to be back on the review set to look at robot mode. Right? Right. So let's look at this DX9 Gabriel, aka G1 Omega Supreme. Alright, guys, so let's go over the box review as best I can because, frankly, it's a massive box and it's really super hard to do this. Yeah. So, we are way up here at the top, and you can see it says Gabriel, and then up there it says D12 Gabriel Ungraded. So that is, of course, the way they sent it from BBTS. If it was a graded box, I'm sure it would be in slightly better condition. It's not terrible, but it's sort of coming apart at one of the seams. You get a really fantastic image of Gabriel or Omega Supreme right there. Looks fantastic. I love the silhouette. I love the artwork. I'll come down as low as I can. Oh, look at it. Right at the bottom of the box. You got Digital X-Tall 9 toys. D12 Gabriel, The Last Defender. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to try to turn it. It's actually almost as wide as my entire new review set as it is. Oh, lost the light. Light down. There we go. Alright. So if we start down here, you see definitely some Cybertronian cities happening. This is definitely a Unicron horn. I don't know what's going on there, but you got all kinds of cool details and stuff. A nice bridge. A couple cannons. Ugh. I really wish I had a smooth operating tripod. And it's just a very cool box art situation. And if I rotate it one more time, trying not to knock everything over, you get DX9, Inner Dream, Eternal Hobby, some tape going on up there, Vengeance, it's mine. And you got this really awesome blueprint action going on here. Even coming down to an overhead shot of city mode. You even have the rocket over here. You got the tank there. That's not to scale, but it cares. And here's what's crazy. So, if you watch my New Age reviews, you'll see this little bitty symbol right there. And I never know until just now. I believe it says Freeman. So Freeman is part of the designers of this. Image shown here is indicative only. Actual product may differ. DX9 2017. Now, if I rotate over to that side, it's the same box art as that was on the other end. But if I come up to the top, as high as I can go here, you can see this is where the box is sort of coming apart. That's where I thought it was kind of a shoebox situation. Turns out it wasn't. Let's see if I can get the top of the box here. It's got some nice artwork. And you can see there's a really nice artist rendition of the Constructicons and a cartoon version of Omega. That's pretty cool. My friends, my city, all gone. That's actually really, really cool. It's a very nice nod to the G1 cartoon and everything else. So this review is going to be very difficult, guys. And due to YouTube time travel, this is actually the last thing I'm shooting of the review. Yeah, just think about that. Alright, guys, so here we have the DX9 Gabriel, or the Omega Supreme. And as you can see, in base mode, it is massive. As in, what the hell were they thinking? This is my coffee table. It goes within 5 inches of the edge, end to end. So this thing is likely somewhere in the 36, 38-inch range. I don't know where my measuring tape is, or I would tell you exactly how wide this thing is. And it is absurd. And all this, if you caught it on sale at BBTS for $169 or $79. Think about that. A updated masterpiece version of the G1 toy that actually turns into the whole base with rocket, with big old tank boy. Now, mind you, I'm actually several feet kind of away from him here. But if you want to, you can, in fact, roll that along. You can get the tank all up in there, which is awesome. It does not roll on its own, unfortunately. But if you do this and push him down the ramp, it's entirely possible. It'll fly off the table if you go too far. Just for comparison, so I can get them out of the way now. There's Wally. Yeah. Where's my other comparison friend? This is the DX9 Dutch. So that's the Legend scale Optimus. Now, originally, it was theorized that the Legends were to scale with this. And I think that's probably pretty close, in my opinion. So, and just for, the sake of having some type of playset, here's the only guy that I've got in car mode. It is the Ratchet we looked at not long ago for New Age. So you could have a pretty cool thing. Now, it's not rolling really good because of the kind of things there, but this would be a fun playset. Now, mind you, the tank is absolutely ridiculously huge. So let's go ahead and try to compare the direct comparison. I have to adjust the camera ever so slightly here. So the only other direct comparison I have is the Siege version of the rocket, which is about a foot taller than the other. The Siege version of the tank, let's bring this guy back over here, which you can see significant size difference, though this one looks more like something that would probably roam around this track. And obviously the major color differences here. And we have to block the light all through here. The Siege version itself, which is, well, tiny. Now, even though it's sitting where it is, this part is roughly the same as the main core, but the track is significantly different, and it's with the fact that the legs here make up part of the track this way and don't split open the way that does. And by the way, guys, I will once again recommend you go watch the Taro video if you want to see how to get this massive thing into this amount of space. And, just once again, this is ridiculous. And the funny thing is the curve is roughly the same. So this is also much lighter, much easier to handle. Take that into consideration. Now coming in up close, you see the way the track looks. Looks pretty cool. And there is the rocket with its kind of base area. We got some nice silver details, orange paint. And then, of course, the tank. I will take closer looks at these. And then coming down here, you even get these little like walkways that are supposed to lead up to the backside here. Though, of course, if you've got thrusters pointing down at your walkways, it's probably not a good idea. Once again, there's the tank. Mind all the crap in the background. Of course, I'm having to do this in the living room, as previously stated. Look, I've already got hair on stuff. Okay, so looking at the rocket here, we do have some gunmetal plastic or painted parts here. I really thought that was a plastic insert, but no, it's actually painted. What we also have here is little entry doors, which is not the easiest thing to handle. Also, I'm missing a screw cover from the factory, so that sucks. But if you open this up, that's also how you get to the innards here with the arm. There's some nice scrapage going on there. So the top one is somewhat pointless, but the bottom one is actually cool, because if you make use of this, you can... Wait, I couldn't get it to do that before. Why not? That's weird. Maybe I was bending it here and that was the problem, but like I couldn't get that to get all the way that low before. So let's see here. Does this sort of... Okay, so that works if you're loading directly off of here. It won't go all the way to the ground, so to speak. But that's pretty neat. And just to give you an idea, that's roughly the wheel width of one vehicle. And wow, he almost fits up in there. That's kind of cool. But mind you, the New Age, of course, does sort of fit to the DX9 size scale, as it were. But if you close all this up, there you go. There's the rocket. Got the orange bits down here. Got the thruster, so to speak. And it does do the thing. Ah, it's firing. Okay. Get that guy out of there. And just looking at the tank up close, as best I can. I'm working under really weird conditions here. It looks very, very nice. Got some nice yellow molded areas here. And then lightish, whitish area here. Silver, which is scraped up. That sucks. Silver paint, silver paint. Silver paint looks super good. Weird grayish brown color. Very similar to the other one. Got some nice yellow separation here. Looks good. Something I did not figure out in the other videos I've done on this, whether it was the live stream or the Taro, is that these cannons can pivot. You can push it all the way out. This one is very, very stiff. So it wasn't until I pushed it just far enough that I could see that there was actually a hinge in there, which is pretty awesome. Speaking of that, you do have a hinge here for this cannon. You got some silver paint there. I added a couple small repro label logos there. And I even added a clear Autobot symbol there. It's not quite centered, or maybe it is, but because the screen is off center, it makes it look funny. You got a giant translucent part back here, which is cool in and of itself. Does look nice. This whole section here is scary because it is painted red, and this is painted orange, and this is painted gunmetal. So that's the big areas you don't want to scratch up. I will be getting a big Autobot logo to go there as soon as Toy Hacks' website exists again. It's currently on hiatus. If you come down here, you can see the big old wheel section up under there, and the very problematic tab area that we'll cover when we get to transformation here in a minute. So this is pretty awesome. And then once again, just because size scale looks better up close, there it is next to a little vehicle, and of course a Wally, as it were. Now the hard part is I'm gonna have to transform this again. So once again, I did the Taro video already, transforming it to this mode, and it is harder to get to this mode than it is to get to robot mode. So we'll see. But just know it's going to take a lot of fumbling. It's going to look stupid, but hopefully you'll understand roughly how to make this guy a big old robot. Hopefully. And then when I'm done with all this, we'll move to the review set, hopefully, to finish up the review of the close-up of the robot, where we can actually see some stuff, you know? Yay. Okay, so first and foremost, let's try to get our big tanky friend how he's got to be. Go ahead and push the cannon in. You can see the slider here does move. I guess if you want, you could leave those open. Won't help you any, but you could, I guess. Well, that looks a little bit cracked. It's not good. And that is a very stiff slider there. You can push this cannon in as well. It won't go in much, but it does shrink ever so little. Then you can close. Actually, you can't close that just yet. Hold on. We'll come back here to this section. Rotate this knobby knob and flip that down flat. Close that. Then this will go. Actually, it just sticks regardless. So we'll leave that like so. Okay, where do we want to go? We want to come under here. For stability's sake and transformation, I'm going to leave the tailgate on that like so. And then what we're going to do is deal with this piece here. Now, if you saw the live stream, you saw me attempt to cut that just ever so slightly. And it's because, as you can hear, that does not fit very well. And you can see the stress damage there. So this needs to be clearanced because this tab, as you can tell, is not very good. Either that or I need to clearance this just to clear the hole a little bit better. So flip that up and then just sort of deal with that. It's going to get in the way as we go. So try to flip this up. That covers the translucent bit. One thing that's kind of cool. So he's got this translucent part. I guess it's supposed to replicate the translucent part that's hiding up in here. Like it's just supposed to be like, hey, remember this? Okay, and then we want to come in here to these tank treads and just flip them in. They're kind of there. So I guess actually if you want to open that up instead, it makes life a little bit easier because these tabs right here sort of sit inside here. They don't tab in per se. They just sort of sit there. And then since we're here, let's just kind of flip that up. Like I said, this is just going to be in the way regardless. Where should I go next? Let's go ahead and fold this in like that. And fold this in to here. Try to get it as boxy as possible. This double hinge right here does make it a little bit difficult, but you gotta just make do. So hinge in to where you end up with that. And you want to come up here to where the guns were. Hit a big tab and went into there. Go ahead and flip this around like so. Do the same thing over here, like that. And then where are we at? Go ahead and open this. Flip that guy closed. And then all of this section has to fold into here. And these are sort of tied together. So there's a sliding thingy here. And you can hear the ratchets. But this will only get you so far. And then you kind of have to fold these in and then fold that in. If you caught that. So these things will only get you so far just pushing it. Once it's flat, you're good. Once you got these guys facing directly this way, it's good. Okay, so this will have to kind of come down like so. And then we're going to flip all of this down like so. And then, so we don't miss it, you see how there's a gap there? Just kind of chunk that together. There's tabs and such. Get everybody lined up. And then there's a little tab there and a hole there. If you got it right, all of that will line up. Notice it just sort of tabbed in there. And then like that. Everybody clean and good. Yep. Okay. And we'll turn the head around. Just sort of have the cannon facing wherever. And we'll look at this guy, obviously up close, fully in robot mode. Then we need to do the arms slash rocket. Very simply, want to pull that apart. Just got spring tabs, stuff like that. You got this area, and then you've got these tabs that need to line up for it to be right. So for the left arm, you have to come up here. And so this, I guess they mirrored this only for this purpose. So the only way to get out the bicep is an elbow is to come in here and push it out. Like so. And yeah, that is a loud, chunky sound. So that's one arm done. Everybody good? Yep. Then we come over here to this arm. Do the same thing. It's a little tight. It's a little tight, but it is what it is. And like we saw before, just kind of risk your fingers. Ow, that's seriously hard. It's locked in there. This is not something children can do. I will tell you that right now. That is a very hard thing for me as a certain sized adult to do. So that's our right arm. And we'll set these aside for the time being. This part is going to suck because it's hard to manipulate this much mass. So I'm going to move into a different position here. By me, I mean I'm going to move the camera. So the ramp thingies here are just tabbed into 2 slots on the back skirts here. Just kind of untab those. See, there's a little tabby tab. By the way, this lighting is like fantastic for reviews. So interesting. Okay, so set those aside. We'll need those near the end. And then the tracks here need to unpeg from underneath the feet, or the legs rather. They look like feet, but they're actually the legs. And I'll do it on the other side as well. So one thing I'll probably do is I will show you how to do one side of the legs and then do the other off camera just to save time. So when we get to here, oh, yep, we want to flip up these little retainers. Now out of the box, those were not flipped out, so it was just sort of stuck together. But you want those flipped out. Then you see the big hinge here. Just flip that down. Flip this down. Close, and now we got our little retainer tabs lined up with the holes. Just do what you got to do. Adjust accordingly. And then that'll tab together. Other side, as one would say. Like that. Okay, and those will be our wings, and it doesn't matter which side goes where, they're the same. Set those aside. Okay, and now comes the part that's going to be incredibly difficult to explain and show, so we're just going to do what we can. I will say the lighting is already better than when I transformed it the first time. So these are, of course, going to be his shins, his foot, and his leg. And all of that is going to shrink down and do some plastic origami. Something no MP collector is remotely unfamiliar with. So one thing I will suggest, these little thingies here, go ahead and close them. There's one there, and there's one here. They help rigidify this area, but if you leave it open, it almost looks like a little pass-through, which is kind of cool. But the other side is solid, so that's mostly just to fill in a gap. Okay, so as I lift that up, you can obviously see the hingy bit doing its job there. But then you've got these little guys right here, and they are tabbed together on both sides. And so we're going to utilize our leg joint to make this happen. Okay, so this is going to be one of those things that's super hard to film, and I apologize. Okay, so what we have here was that section. Bring this down and then tab it together, and then the hinge here will eventually, oh, well, I guess if you just do that, it will come up and meet that inside. So one thing you may have missed was this little bit, which is what all of this kind of rests and lock into place on, at the bottom of the foot. So what we want to do, it's already trying to forcibly transform. Okay, this might not be good because the camera might catch it. All right, so there's a turny part right here. And so this will be the front of the foot. Hold on. That's the back of the leg. So you want to rotate it up, spin it this way, 90 degrees. I know, that's crazy. And then we're going to sort of do that number. And this is only for space saving sake. Grab the foot and rotate it 180. And then now we have all of this area open like that. So one thing we have to do, this area here, push it down to unlock it. There's a couple T-tabs on the inside. We'll see better from the other angle. Kind of collapse that in on itself, like so. You can see it a little bit better down here. So this area. So pop that up. You saw that was tabbed in there. Rock this in like so. Now somewhere, oh, back here, got a couple little pegs on a flip out tab, and those will help solidify the legs like so. And then we want to basically just close it up like that, and grab this part and tuck it under, and it's got a couple tabs there, and that'll hold it in place. Now I'm going to do the other side off camera, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got to this point. Both legs are now cinched up and of course closed together. I'll explain the ratchets a little bit better when we get to the actual robot mode. Now for these thingies that were ramps, they are the shin covers. You've got these nice slotted areas here that will go over this. Now, if you don't have it squeezed together perfectly, this won't work effectively. So like that, and then push it down, locking it in place. Turn here, see that, line it up, and like I said, if you don't have it squeezed together great, it's harder to get it locked into place. For those who have seen the Taro video, you'll already know I'm having an easier time transforming it back. Also, these were a huge pain to remove. Now, gotta back the camera out a little bit. Turn up, come up. Okay, so now we have all of this section to deal with. And this isn't that bad. It's just kind of annoying, if I'm honest. So what we want to do is go ahead and flatten this. So basically we're turning the entire torso. And now that's one ratchet too far. Okay, so there's that. Now we can flap that down. By the way, if these skirts are not flipped up, you cannot transform the legs properly. Just so you know. Okay, so we want to come up here, flip this up. This is something I screwed up before. So this will now become part of the backpack. You've got all these lovely tabs in there, like that. You see it? Also, I kind of ignore the fact there's some really nice translucent pieces back here. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now what we want to do is unpeg this from here. But it is actually on there pretty good. So if you don't have a spudger, I definitely suggest getting one. Okay, so we're going to fold that up. See these big old tabs there? Those were plugged into there, making life difficult for me. Come up a little bit more, and we're nearly there. So we want to flip this up, and then grab the arms, pull them out, like so. Rotate the shoulders down, and I want to prep the arms by moving those out. Make sense? Good. Because if it didn't, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so we take our tank bot person. That's the best way I can describe him. We've got tabs down here, and we have holes here. The best way you're going to manage this is to go ahead and get the holes lined up here onto that. and then the tabs later plugged in on the back. So just sort of fight him in as best you can. He's actually usually a bit more hospitable here. And kind of annoying, yeah, if I'm honest. What the heck? Okay, so that's there. Plug in there. Plug in there. And then we come to the arms and tab those in. And then back to the yellow thingies. There's retainer tabs here that will clip into that. And then these guys will clip into it as well, being made super secure. Though, always feels incredibly scary to either lock those in or push them out. Highlights. Look, everybody can see my arm. Okay, so arm time. Go ahead and pick them up out of crotch. So we've got the arm. This is the elbow side. You can tell because this is the rotatey side. So you got the big square. And you got a little retainer right there. Hold on, I got them wrong. And just sort of slide it in. And then this guy will fill in, and now you can rotate the arm. The arm keeps going from either really, really stiff to will rotate at any given point. So I'm not entirely certain how I do that. Oh, I screwed that up anyways. So there's that arm. Come to the other side. Try to do the exact same thing, but sideways. So like that. There's no like satisfying click. I'm sorry. And then turn them around. Legs are being dumb. So we got the backpack. We need the wingos. So flip up the backpack. You got these holes that go there. Like so. And do the other side. Like so. That was actually real easy. And then we clip this in. Like so. And there he is. Our Omega. Omega! As somebody would say. Whew. Holy crap. That's a big boy. And just for a very quick size comparison, while I have him right here, there's our Wally. Roughly the size of his head. And if we come way down here, here is our Prime down to his feet. And I do think this is a proper comparison. So I think that this version of Omega Supreme was meant to go with the DX9 / New Age Legends. Now, if they've ever said that out loud, I do not know. Other Transformers fans will have to inform me of that. But this is, frankly, an absurd thing. So hopefully I will now transfer over to the old school / new school review set to finish this up for our robot mode. Alright guys, so here we have Omega out of the box and looking like a set of shins. Yeah, so he's huge, as obvious, you know, the fact that as I started this video, I'm in the living room to deal with it. And part of me thinks I should have just done the entire review in the living room, but then again, I wanted to use the new review set, as it were. So as we are right here in this particular space, I did want to go ahead and show off the comparison again for Omega with Optimus. Get a much closer shot there. If I didn't get a good shot before, I filmed that a week ago. And then of course here's Wally, which I got to remember to get a picture of him with Wally later for the thumbnail. So Wally's barely taller than one of his feet. Also apologies for my nose running. It is what it is. And then one of the New Age ratchet bots, so to speak. Problem with the new review area, I don't have anywhere to set anything at the moment. It's like when I have to take something off screen, I have nowhere to put it. Shrinking the desk was a mistake. Okay, so let's... Oh, that's as high as I can go. I gotta raise the... I have to actually raise the thing. Hold on. Okay, we're back up here to head level. And he is a pretty boy. Look at him. Look at that nice yellow face, the blue eyes, all that goodness. And of course, like I said before, I added these little bitty Autobot logos here. I need to check and see if the Repo Labels website is back up, because they were rebuilding it. So once again, painted area right here does look really good. You got some silver detail right up under there. Looks very nice. This is painted here because all this is translucent so that you can flip up his face mask. Beautiful silver paint all up in there. Come a little bit higher. Does look super good. I can't actually bring him closer. I'm just leaving myself room to work because he is hefty. I do wish there was like a little insert here to make that not look so separated, but I guess you can only do what you can do. Now hold on, I forgot a thing. Okay, so something else he does come with is this face, which is cool. So you can get an open mouth Omega, and I kind of want an open mouth Omega. But getting out of there, I'm not entirely certain how to do it. I'm going to adjust the lights ever so slightly, because I've focused on a certain way. There we go. That's a little bit nicer. So you can see how good that is. Okay, so the mouth is painted. That's not a hole. Obviously, you got... It's like an Iron Man mask, if I'm honest. Now, you can swap the faceplate, and I'm going to try. I'm not sure how, but I'm going to try. Okay, so in theory, when you are rotating his face around, this should give you access over here to pop it off. It's just 4 little tabs. And you could just remove that. This is why I wish he had light up feature. Also, just having those eyes there looks super mysterious. Push that on. Honestly, I figured that's how it was done. I just wasn't sure. So I do actually like the open mouth. I think it looks pretty good. Let's sit back down. Okay, so let's try to do this. I'm not used to this chair or this setup or anything. Okay, so when it comes to all the setup part, nice translucent bit here, as we've seen before. Silver paint here, orangey and silver paint around this little edge right in here. That's cool. I like the detail work. It's good. Orange paint all along here. In different days, that would be a sticker. And if you come down just a little bit, you see a little bit of gunmetal paint up in here. Gunmetal on top of red paint, on top of some orange paint, or possibly orange paint is on top of that, depending on how they masked it. Still waiting on a big Autobot logo to put there. It is what it is. I believe this is yellow plastic with some silver paint on it inside there. Hey, stop punching the camera, dude. You do get his tank treads sticking out right through there. If you look at the arm, gotta be careful on doing this. Oh wow, there's a lot of dust. What the heck? I don't know where my sofa went. So you get that gunmetal paint inside there. It does look really nice. Now, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and try to show off the articulation a little bit here. He is standing in a pose, so that's good. He does rotate at the waist, which is good. No technical ab rotation. You're just going to get the forward lean due to. That would be why I couldn't get him to lean. I was wondering. Keep forgetting the side skirts interfere with the legs. The head, as I pointed out while messing with the transformation, can rotate, and it has a hinge back and a hinge down. And then, of course, if you're transforming him, you tuck that away so he has no neck. I really do think I need these like forward lights right through here. Okay, so arms. He does have shoulder armor that will pivot up and out of the way a bit. I don't think it goes too, yeah, it goes a bit further. So you can actually utilize that arm to go up. It can possibly go a little bit higher, though I can't tell or see. So if we do push that down, so he could potentially do a YMCA. That might be interesting. So, be careful about that. That's not super sturdy. The other good thing is you can kick that up and then get the arm to come down. See, that should be a little bit more secure than that, but sort of bothersome. Interesting if there was like a little button there. So that's good. He does rotate this way on a softer ratchet, but it will lock sometimes, and I haven't been able to figure out why. So it is what it is. Obviously the elbows, as we have probably discussed, you can't use the heavy ratchets. Has a rotation built in there, which is nice. If you turn it around, you can't see the fake pistons. Once again, that, see, I feel like this should slide down a lot further. Maybe that's not in there right. Hold on, is there a specific direction? No, I thought it had a better direction to lock in. It does not. It's just there. So yeah, that is not a good feature, if I'm honest with you. Okay, and then you have the light up button, which is cool. At least on one side, so his gun. Turn this inward. Once again, using a much smaller space than I used to. Gotta get used to it. Okay. By the way, having to do this at full extension sucks. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Okay, we already talked about the waist rotation. Being careful, he is sliding. The legs are on super heavy ratchets, as previously discussed. Though sometimes they're fine. The hip joint seems to move okay, except there we go. And if you want to get him in and out on a ratchet, it's a little harder. Let's see here. You got a big chunky knees. Down. Big chunky knee joint there. It can go way further than this. He can do the splits, obviously. He can kick forward and back, because obviously for transformation, all these things have to function. Because he has such a big chunky butt. But you can see, even with a little bit of an offset step here, he's still mostly standing. A little scary. You got to get those feet planted like so. I do wish he had some kind of rubber mat to stand on. You know, like sometimes they give you the little rubber dealies to either stick to the feet or set under the feet. So that's the only thing I wish he did have. Ugh, hard to do one-handed. He does have ankle rocker like that. Oh, it drops down. Oh, look at that. That didn't even occur to me. That's kind of cool. Drops down, gives you a little bit more rotation. Can kick it up in there. The toe itself. Oh yeah, the toe doesn't rotate because the thing is still attached. I forgot. That's cool. I didn't realize. Whoa. That can really drop down and get a lot more extension. Okay. I just now discovered that. That's kind of cool. Nice. Gives you a little bit more room to work. By the way, nice little detail work on the side here. The weight started shifting and he started going. I felt it. I'm like, ah! Okay, so one thing, I'll talk about these legs. Hold on, I'm gonna come back up. So the ratchets in the hips and the, well, I guess it's technically all the hips, a universal joint in the hips. So if I click his knee forward, that's a heavy ratchet, but still good. But that one is kind of got a lot of gap between the teeth. Makes it a little unsettling. So you can see he's actually leaning back quite a bit. So it makes you almost want to put him one tooth leaning forward with a hint of lean back. Let's get this foot transferred. That's interesting. I didn't realize if you could do that. The in and out ratchet, like this one, you can see, like I've talked about it on the live stream, I talked about it in transformation. These work better if you kind of rock it one way and then the other. So like right now, really hard to move out. And then it goes. But then if I want to push it in, see? It's kind of like get the tooth to move and then it will. Oh, jeez. Just barely turn him around here. Show off some details on the back, which probably never saw. Orange little dealies. Little yellow dealies down here at the legs. Definitely don't stick together. I may have forgotten to pull out the little tabbies. for that gunmetal paint on the back of the thighs. Come all the way back up. See all the thrusters here. Wish they had painted this area. Wish they had put a little bit of detail here, like it seems like it should, and they don't. But the wings have a tiny bit of painted silver detail here on all sides. Gotta love that. Okay, turning around. His hand's gonna be totally in the way, so let's talk about the right arm real quick. Okay. Back this up just a little bit. And the big old claws all have a ratchet joint, like so. And you can have them like really, like, clench a fist, sort of. It's pretty neat. I'm gonna have to back out here in a little bit to do the final comparison. So this is where I have a problem. I feel like this should rotate. Also, button. And I wish that there was some silver paint inside here. So if this could rotate, it would give you a little bit more of a shot, like, because you can't do anything with that. So like right now, it'd be hard pressed to hold something because now you have a gap down here. So like I usually have my big robots holding Wally, but if I wanted to hold Wally properly, kind of straight up and down, once again that arm's sliding out too easy, I have to do this. Also, that ratchet, strangely weak, but then occasionally will lock. I don't know why. Like sometimes it'll just be like a hard lock, and then other times it's rotating super easy. So I feel like there's a methodology to it that I just don't know. So now that I want Wally up in here, like so, and then I can have this like so. There we go. Now we got Wally, and we can turn the head like that. So it looks pretty good. And like I said, he's huge. And once again, just for a quick comparison, up close here, you can see that's Prime standing on his shoulders, which is neat, but huge. So let's do the only real comparison that matters. There he is next to the Siege Omega. And, well, I claimed that they were roughly the same size. Realistically, his wings come up to the top of his head. So he's got a decent height advantage. Not to mention weight advantage. So I'm going to have a hard time probably getting this guy on the shelf where that one used to go. But I guess I could do one more comparison. I'm going to have to move some stuff. And there we have the Earthrise Scorpio Boy. Scooch that over. So, yeah, he's bigger than Scorponok, but at least within the canon of Earthrise, that's probably true. Because Scorponok is not a city bot in Earthrise. Spoilers. But for me, even though this isn't remotely G1 accurate, neither is the height of Optimus. I like the idea of having these two fighting on the shelf. Now, if somebody comes out with a Scorponok that's akin to this, which now the DX9 is gone, not going to happen, so it is what it is. I think it'd be pretty cool. You know, the Earthrise and Siege stuff, the War for Cybertron stuff, has a whole lot of surface detail. I'm tired, guys. That guy does not, so it just kind of is what it is. I do like it, though. And I think it'll be good. I am going to get the DNA design upgrade kits for him as well. I want him to have his guns. I want the upgraded stuff there. I want the upgraded claws. Things and such like that. Alright. Guys, it is hard manipulating these big old bots. Not to mention that heat came on in the middle of this. I'm sweating. All you reviewers out there, you understand. Alright, so this is a very, very cool bot. The biggest gripes I have with it is the inconsistencies in the ratchet, either being way too tight or having a lot of gap between the teeth, making it difficult to balance, which is kind of what I got going on with the legs. Getting a split stance, it gets a little scary. Now, being on a slippery surface like this glass plate makes it a little harder. Want something with a little grip to it, it'll probably be fine. Also, that's why I said rubber feet are probably much better. Articulation for a bot this size is actually very good, if not easy. I do wish that the claws here could rotate. Maybe they do, but mine is just kind of stuck. He is missing a cover or over here on this side. So little tiny QC issues here and there. I wish the eyes lit up, but it's okay that they don't, as long as they're painted a really nice metallic blue. The transformation is hard, but not trivial. That makes sense. Like, it's fun, but involved because of the legs and the way you have to fight it. And that I've done it at least twice. I don't know when the next time I will bother transforming him. His alt mode, his city mode, so to speak, is so large, it's unusable for virtually any collector, so that kind of sucks, unless you have an open coffee table somewhere and you're okay with, and your wife is okay with you having your toys out on it. Other than that, it's a very good homage to G1 Omega Supreme, either the toy or the actual character. I really do dig it a lot. Glad I got it on sale. Hopefully you can still pick it up at the price I did at BBTS. I definitely recommend it. Go now. Hopefully they still have some at that price and people haven't started jacking up the price because DX9 is going away. Also, super happy it came with batteries installed. Didn't have to hunt it down. Didn't have to ask what batteries are needed. Don't even have to know how to put them in until they die, whenever that might happen. But I'm going to proudly display it with the rest of my DX9 Legends and the New Age stuff as well, and intermix it with my other huge bots. In comparison, he's probably a little bit taller than Devastator from Toy World. That display is so hard to get stuff out of, I couldn't pull it out. I apologize. But yeah, guys, this thing is like handling a small child and trying to put a jacket on it. So I will catch you guys next time. And remember, go check out the Taro video. It will be linked up in the thingy up there. Go check out the rest of my channels, of course, the secondary channel and the third channel if you're interested in stuff that has nothing to do with anything else I do. So I'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on nerding. Like, really hard. I'm very far away from the camera.